77 years. For 77 long years she lay in darkness, a silent giant resting on the ocean floor. A ghost of the Pacific War, a legend whispered among historians and naval enthusiasts. The USS Hornet, CV-8. A name that echoes with heroism and sacrifice. And now she's been found. Just imagine this. A state-of-the-art research vessel, the RV Petrel, is methodically scanning the abyssal plains of the South Pacific. They're near the Solomon Islands, a region that saw some of the most ferocious naval battles in history. On their sonar screens, a shadow begins to take shape. It's massive, man-made, and it's lying nearly 3.5 miles below the surface. As the remotely operated vehicle, or ROV, descends through the crushing blackness, its lights cut through the gloom and reveal the impossible. A name, still visible on the stern, Hornet. The discovery sent shockwaves through the world. The USS Hornet, sunk during the Battle of the Santa Cruz Islands in October 1942, was no longer lost to history. She was found, remarkably preserved in the cold, deep water. So, why is this ship so important? Why does finding her matter so much? The Hornet wasn't just another aircraft carrier. She was a symbol of America's resolve in the darkest days of World War II. Think back to early 1942. The attack on Pearl Harbor was a fresh, deep wound. The news from the Pacific was bleak. The nation needed a sign of hope, a sign that they could strike back. That sign came from the deck of the Hornet. On April 18, 1942, 16 B-25 Mitchell bombers, Army aircraft far too large for a carrier, roared to life on her flight deck. Their mission, led by the legendary Lieutenant Colonel Jimmy Doolittle, was audacious, almost suicidal. Bomb Tokyo. It was the first American air raid to strike the Japanese mainland. While the physical damage was limited, the psychological impact was immense. It was a massive morale boost for the Allies and a shocking blow to the Japanese high command. The Hornet was the ship that made it possible, sailing deep into enemy waters to launch this daring raid. Just a few months later, the Hornet played another crucial role, this time at the Battle of Midway. Alongside the carriers Enterprise and Yorktown, her pilots helped turn the tide of the war in the Pacific. They crippled the Japanese carrier fleet, a victory from which the Imperial Japanese Navy would never fully recover. In just a few short months, the Hornet had cemented her place in history. But her legendary career was destined to be short and violent. The war in the Pacific was a brutal meat grinder, especially for aircraft carriers. In October 1942, the Hornet was engaged in the Battle of the Santa Cruz Islands, a desperate fight to support the Marines on Guadalcanal. Over the course of one terrifying day, she was relentlessly attacked. She was hit by bombs, aerial torpedoes, and even kamikaze planes in one of the earliest uses of such tactics. The crew fought with incredible courage to save their ship. They battled fires, patched holes, and tried to get the engines running again. But the damage was too severe. The order was given to abandon ship. Over 2,000 sailors went into the water as their beloved vessel burned. Even then, the Hornet refused to die easily. American destroyers tried to scuttle her with torpedoes and gunfire, but she stayed afloat. Finally, under the cover of darkness, Japanese destroyers found the crippled giant and sent her to the bottom with their own torpedoes. She took 140 of her crew with her on her final journey. For over 7 decades, that's where her story ended. A wreck somewhere in the vast, uncharted depths of the Pacific. A final resting place for brave sailors. Then came the team aboard the RV Petrel. This is the research vessel funded by the late Paul Allen, the co-founder of Microsoft. His passion for history and exploration has led to the discovery of numerous historic shipwrecks, from the USS Indianapolis to the Japanese battleship Musashi. Using historical records, naval archives, and advanced autonomous underwater vehicles, they narrowed down the search area. They knew the Hornet's last reported position, but the ocean is vast and deep. It was like looking for a needle in a haystack several miles deep. The ROV footage they captured is simply breathtaking. It's a time capsule from 1942. You can see the flight deck, the island superstructure, and even the hull number 8, still faintly visible. An anti-aircraft gun, its barrels pointing defiantly towards the surface, looks like it could have been fired yesterday. We can see a TBD Devastator torpedo bomber, a type of plane that was obsolete by that point in the war, sitting eerily intact inside the hangar bay. It's a ghostly, haunting, and incredibly moving sight. One of the most poignant discoveries was an International Harvester tractor, a vehicle used to move aircraft around the deck. It's sitting on its side in the hangar, a mundane piece of equipment that is now a relic of a lost world. You can almost feel the frantic energy of that final day, the chaos of battle, now frozen in time and silence. For the few remaining veterans who served on the Hornet, this news is profoundly emotional. It brought back a flood of memories, both of the terror of battle and the camaraderie he shared with his shipmates. The discovery of the USS Hornet is more than just finding a sunken ship. It's about reconnecting with a pivotal moment in our history. It's a tangible link to the greatest generation, to the young men who faced unimaginable circumstances with incredible bravery. The ship itself is a memorial. It's the final resting place for 140 sailors who made the ultimate sacrifice. And thanks to the incredible work of the Petrel's crew, their resting place is no longer lost. As we look at these images from the deep, we're reminded that history isn't just something you read about in books. It's real. It has weight and substance, and sometimes it can be rediscovered, lying in silent majesty, waiting in the dark. The USS Hornet, the ship that launched the Doolittle Raid and fought at Midway, has been found, and her legacy will now be preserved for all future generations. Thanks for watching. This story is a powerful reminder of the sacrifices made for our freedom. If you found this as fascinating as I did, please hit that like button and subscribe for more dives into history's most incredible discoveries. See you next time.